It was a dark and stormy night, the perfect setting for a horror story. My 4 friends and I were having a sleepover at my house. Feeling brave and adventurous, we decided to try the infamous Bloody Mary game. The game was simple. We had to stand in front of the mirror in the bathroom, turn off all the lights, and say, "Bloody Mary" 3 times. Legend has it that if you do it right, the ghost of Bloody Mary will appear in the mirror. We were all excited and a little scared as we followed the instructions. As we stood in front of the mirror, I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. We looked at each other, taking a deep breath, and said in unison, "Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary." Nothing happened at first. We laughed nervously and shrugged it off as just a silly game. But then, I saw something move in the mirror. I thought it was just my imagination. But then the other girls started screaming. I looked back at the mirror, and there she was, Bloody Mary. Her face was twisted into a terrifying snarl, and her eyes were bloodshot. We froze in fear, unable to look away. Suddenly, the lights flickered and went out. We were left in complete darkness with only the faint light of the moon coming through the window. We could hear a distorted voice whispering, "I am here," over and over again. We huddled together, too scared to move. Out of nowhere, the bathroom door slammed shut with a loud bang. The girls and I screamed, convinced that Bloody Mary was coming to get us. We tried to open the door, but it wouldn't budge. We were trapped. The whispers and banging continued, getting louder and closer. I could feel tears streaming down my face as we huddled together, praying for it to end. And then, just as suddenly as it started, everything went silent. The lights flicked back on, and the door opened. We ran out of the bathroom, out of the house, and never looked back. To this day, we have never played the Bloody Mary game again. We all have nightmares about that night, and some of us even claim to still see her in our mirrors. I don't know if it was just a prank played by one of my friends or if Bloody Mary really did appear that night. But I do know that I will never forget the terror we experienced when we played that infamous game. As a young child, I was basically the definition of chicken shit. I used to sleep with my lights on or fall asleep to the sound of a movie blasting out of my television. I guess all of that fear drained out of me during those years, because at this point I'm not exactly a person you would call a coward. But I do have my moments. Now to the story. When I was 7 or 8, I started going to my elementary school summer recreation program. There, I met some of the best people that I know. I met a girl there, we will call her Rebecca, who to this day is still my best friend. We all sat in a small corner of the large gymnasium while she told us about Bloody Mary, the lady in the mirror. She told us the basic story about Bloody Mary, who was a woman who had lost her child, and if you chant her name while standing in front of a mirror in a dark room, she will appear, etc., etc. After her telling us about her, I continued to hear new stories about Bloody Mary from different people throughout that summer. Variations, backstories, and anything to make the story more scary. Being the young, naive child that I was, I believed it. All of it. At past midnight, I would lay awake in my pitch-black bedroom, contemplating what I would do if Bloody Mary just happened to slip out of the mirror and into my room. One night, I went to bed as usual and tried to sleep, as it was the night before my 9th birthday. I kissed my mom and dad goodnight and proceeded to go into my bedroom and fall asleep with my lights like always. I slowly fell asleep. I woke up. The room was pitch black. Mom probably closed the light or something, and I looked at the illuminated LED alarm clock on my nightstand. 11:59. Great. I have to wait until 12:10 to go to the bathroom. Even if I did go to the bathroom, I would go in, terrified and trying my best to avoid looking into the mirror. I sat there, alone in the dark with a full bladder. You know what? This is ridiculous, Tiffany. You're 9 years old now, and you're still acting like a 2-year-old. Bloody Mary isn't real. I wanted to get over my fear, I really did. Thinking that if I went into the bathroom and did the ritual, nothing would happen, and I wouldn't be scared anymore. I grabbed a large candle from my parents' bedroom, tiptoeing quietly so I wouldn't wake them up. I crept down to the living room and grabbed the lighter from the kitchen. I lit the candle, burning myself on my first try, and walked into the bathroom. I set the candle next to the sink and stared into my lit reflection. Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. Nothing happened. I was relieved. I quickly blew out the candle and slipped back into my bed, smiling. I lay there, staring into the clock. I closed my eyes, but then I realized. It was nearly 90 degrees outside in the summer, and my bedroom was cold. I was afraid to open my eyes, but I did. In my doorway was a dark figure of a lady. Looking at her made my insides hurt. I wanted to scream, but I was also afraid of waking up my parents. I simply closed my eyes and tried to imagine puppies, flowers, and the celebrations that would take place in the afternoon. I drifted asleep, with the feeling that Bloody Mary was still watching. When I woke up, it was morning, and the sunshine outside was so bright it blinded me for a sec. Checked the doorway, nada. Then, in the bathroom, I braved a look in the mirror and found a cut next to my eyebrow. Weird start to the day. I changed into my dress for the day, noticing several small scratches on my stomach. I ignored them. After that day, I tried not to think about that night. I never told my friends about what happened and that everything that she had said was real. The good thing, I'm not afraid of the dark. I play idiotic games with friends like the Three Kings or the Midnight Game, but not Bloody Mary.